The recent train breakdowns and delays affecting more than 200,000 commuters have cast a shadow over our MRT system, with some even calling for SMRT chief Saw Pek Hua to resign. But were Singaporeans overreacting to the breakdowns? After all, train breakdowns happen all the time in other countries like the UK and Japan.
For me, I think it was a little bit of an overreaction, just because of having lived in various countries and being able to compare. I think if it's working 365 days of the year and it's not working 2 or 3 days or whatever, that's a pretty good average, I'd say.
Well, I'm surprised. It seems too good for this sort of situation to happen. I'm very surprised and shocked that there was such a breakdown. Yeah, I can see it's very important, the MRT, to getting around in Singapore, because obviously car licenses are really expensive and it's a primary method of transportation for your standard Singaporeans. So yeah, I can understand that would have caused a lot of havoc.
Oh, it's the first time the trains have broken down, or we've been here just over a year. And I think in the big scheme, like the Singapore train system and the MRT system is amazing. So compared to Australia and New Zealand, where it's almost non-existent, trains don't even run on Sundays hardly, and it's cheap, it's convenient, it's fast. It's I think in the big scheme, it's hopefully it's a one-off, and yeah.
So did you feel that we were overreacting?
I think a little bit, yeah. I think if you'd been going northbound and you lived up in the north, then it would have been a lot more inconvenient. But, if it only happens once every 5 or 10 years, it's pretty good. I guess there are a couple in that span of the 1 week.
Everyone's trying to get work on time. Everyone's trying to get home on time to see their families. We're looking at a busy environment, so it's understandable. I was surprised. I'm often surprised I don't hear enough tannoy announcements. When something happens on the train, you would expect someone to speak up. My experience in London, it usually takes like 30 seconds and the guy will come on. Even if it's just a delayed train in front, they'll let people know. People start not to panic. Especially in today's world where you worry about terrorism and things like that. If you're sitting on a train for 30 minutes and you don't know what's going on, people can start to panic on a train. You don't know if there's been a terrorist attack or whatever, so maybe it's a bit severe, but that's a point.
So how does our MRT system compare with train systems around the world?
The train system in Australia doesn't compare at all. The system you have is fantastic. Unbelievable.
In what way?
The ticketing. In Australia, we've been trying to get the ticketing right. We've spent millions and millions of dollars on trying to get ticketing like you have, but our government just can't get it right. Our train system is deplorable compared to yours.
Prices are pretty good. You can go further in London for cheaper, but, I know it's pretty good here. I mean, if you're going from stop to stop, it's pretty cheap. So it's very clean. I like that about it. They use plastic seats so you don't get chewing gum and all that. So I like that. London tends to be very dirty. So, and all the train system's okay,
The train stations themselves are very clean, modern, a lot more modern than typical transit systems in some of the larger financial centres around the world, like London, New York and Tokyo and so on. So yeah, very impressed. It's very clean, very modern and very well organised. The card system's very self-explanatory and we've had no problems whatsoever getting around.
Well, I think that the system in Tokyo is probably the best I've been on so far, just because you don't need a car in Tokyo. You can go basically anywhere you want via the MRT system. But in Singapore as well, it's a small country, but you can go a lot of places by the MRT, so it's pretty good as well compared to the U.S., which, other than, I would say, New York, the public transportation system is not very good at all, actually. So I think it's definitely better than most places in the U.S.
In the next clip, we hear from Singaporeans to find out what they feel SMRT should do in the aftermath of the breakdowns.
The tube in London, they do break down as well. This is Singapore. We can't be comparing ourselves to London